My advice to women is really to stick together, to lean on each other, to use the resources on LinkedIn and in mentorship groups that are available to you. Be in spaces where it's safe to be a woman and to hear from other women what it's like.
My name is Shauna Lifeso, and I am the owner and lead injector at Subtly You.
My name is Juanita Metzger, and I'm the owner and operator of Stroll Walking Tours.
My name is Julie Newman, and I am the principal and founder of Willow Hall HR.
My name is Fawn Lang, and I'm the executive director of Food for Kids Waterloo Region.
My name's Alicia Christian. I'm the Chief Brand and Strategy Officer at Learners, a law firm here in Kitchener.
My name is Sandra Heptich, and I own with my husband, Sandra Dossman, Focheesy Food Trucks.
Start. Just start, because I can think of a handful of clients who have said, I really want to start this business and I have this idea. I have friends who have amazing ideas for a business, and then they go and talk about it for 2-3 years and they've taken no action. And the truth is there's never going to be the right time. There's never going to be enough money to start it.
Success to me is also related to the fact that I'm having fun, I'm engaged, and I'm interested and motivated to continue following a direction or a project or an idea.
Continuously learn, whether that's formal learning or informal learning. I'd encourage you to continue your learning journey, continue to develop your breadth and depth of knowledge in whatever areas you're interested in.
Be true to yourself. Look within yourself to see what's really important to you, what you value, and then play in on your natural abilities. And you will always be successful within that because you're not going to have to think twice about it.
Whether you're a leader or a woman, starting off in her career, definitely don't be afraid to take risks.
If I'm not leaving the world a better place than when I started, I'm not interested in that success.
Hi everyone, my name is Miranda Moffat and I was last year's winner of the Leaders of Tomorrow Award. I'm currently at Forest Heights Collegiate Institute taking my 5th year, and I'm hoping to go into biology next year. Over the past year, I've had many opportunities and moments in which I think I've been able to emphasize and bring out aspects of the Leader of Tomorrow Award. I think one thing that was very notable for my nomination and my award was the fact that I had been able to run my school's food drive. And this year, again, I was able to run my school's food drive, and I was very honored to step into that role again. And I was even able to kind of create this outline for future food drives and involve younger students in it in order to create a ripple effect long term. Other things I've been able to do this year are stepping into the youth champion role, which is a role which advocates for safe drug use in youth, as well as general education on drug use in youth. Another thing I was very honored to be a part of is the fact that my school was the launch school for the We All Belong Here campaign in the region. So I was able to actually give a bunch of speeches and be able to be a part of the launch and be able to start this ripple effect talking about inclusivity and diversity. And especially given what's kind of going on right now, I feel like that's something I'm very proud of and very passionate about. I think other things and other ways that I've been able to show my leadership qualities involve just everyday actions. I think a lot of people overlook those small things like pulling through for your group or waving at your neighbor in the morning. Those are all things that create so much change and so much impact on people's lives around you. And I wake up every day really wanting to make sure that I can be the best I can and be kind to people, because that is what's going to shape the future into what I want it to be. I don't want to take up too much more of your time, but I do really want to emphasize again that this is just the beginning, and there are so many incredible things to come. I mean, even just looking right now, there has been so many leaders in the past who have been able to get us to a point where we can be in this room together, where young women can feel inspired and empowered. And I want to thank you. The leaders of the past have led with this purpose and passion, which has gotten us to this point today and given us so many opportunities we wouldn't even necessarily have before. And I am so incredibly thankful to everyone who makes this event possible every year. And as well, to the future leader of tomorrow. I know you're probably stressing right now, half paying attention because you're worried about some awesome speech you're about to give. But please know how proud of yourself you should be. I think you might overlook this, and there's a lot of incredible people in this room who need to be acknowledged. But please take this moment to understand that you have made such an impact, and you have so much left to look forward to. Same with all of the nominees tonight. Thank you so much, and happy International Women's Day!
Gift-giving means that when we pour into other women through support, collaboration, encouragement, we all rise together. Our community becomes stronger when we choose generosity over competition. Because when we give, we all gain. Happy International Women's Day.
Hello, Shannon Shaw here. Give to gain in the community. I like to see it as giving of time. Maybe that's spending time with old people in the community, and what you gain out of that might be a change in opinion, new perspective, wisdom, and possibly a new friend. Happy International Women's Day.
Give to gain means to me that we have a mindset of abundance, rooted in a confidence that supporting our community of great, incredible women and lifting each other up. It's not that there's scarcity in success, but that together, when we work together, support one another, we can all be better, stronger, and more successful together. Happy International Women's Day.
Wow, good morning, beautiful people. Thank you for joining us today for the 2026 International Women's Day Breakfast. My name is Geraldine Stafford. I am the Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion Manager at Waterloo Regional Police Service. I'm also a member of the Board of Directors on the Chamber. I have the distinct pleasure of emceeing this morning's event alongside my friend and colleague, Regional Chair Karen Redmond, who has been hosting this event for the past 29 years. I certainly stand on the shoulders of, I say, this little giant, having the honor to share the stage with Chair Redmond. Before we begin, I would like to take a moment to acknowledge that we live and work on the traditional territory of the Neutral, Anishinaabe, and Haudenosaunee peoples as we seek a renewed relationship based on the foundation of mutual understanding and respect. To properly acknowledge our dedication to reconciliation with Indigenous peoples, we need to have an unwavering commitment and, most importantly, meaningful action. To guide us in a moment of reflection, we're pleased to share a Thanksgiving address provided by Paula Whitlow, Truth and Reconciliation Director with the Region of Waterloo. To your screens.
Today we have gathered and we see the cycles of life continue. We have been given the duty to live in balance and harmony with each other and all living things. So now we bring our minds together as one as we give greetings and thanks to each other as people. We are all thankful to our Mother, the Earth, for she gives us all that we need for life. She supports our feet as we walk upon her. It gives us joy that she continues to care for us as she has from the beginning of time. To our Mother, the Earth, we send greetings and thanks. We give thanks to all the waters of the world for quenching our thirst and providing us with strength. Water is life. We know its power in many forms, from waterfalls and rain to mists and streams, rivers and oceans. With one mind, we send greetings and thanks to the Spirit of water. We turn our minds to all the fish life in this water. They were instructed to cleanse and purify it. They also give themselves to us as food. We are grateful that we can still find pure water. So we turn now to the fish and send our greetings and thanks. Now we turn towards the vast fields of plant life as far as the eye can see. The plants grow and work many wonders. They sustain many life forms. With our minds gathered together, we give thanks and look forward to seeing plant life continue for many generations to come. With one mind, we turn and honor all the food plants we harvest from the garden. Since the beginning of time, the grains, vegetables, beans, and berries have helped people to survive. Many other living things draw strength from them too. We gather all the food plants together as one and send them a greetings of thanks. Now let's turn to all the medicine herbs of the world. From the beginning of time, they were instructed to take away sickness. They were always waiting and ready to heal us. We are happy that there are still a few special amongst us who remember how to use these plants for healing. With one mind, we send greetings and thanks to the medicines and to the keepers of those medicines. We gather our minds together to send greetings and thanks to all the animal life in the world. They have many things to teach us as people. We are honored by them when they give up their lives so we may use their bodies as food. We see them near our homes and in the deep forest. We are glad that they are still here, and we hope that it will always be so. Now let's turn our thoughts to the trees. The earth has many families of trees who have their own instructions and uses. Some provide us with shelter and shade, others with fruit, beauty, and other useful things. Many people of the world use a tree as a symbol of peace and strength. With one mind, we greet and thank the tree life. We put our minds together as one and thank all the birds who move and fly above over our heads. The Creator gave them beautiful songs. Each day they remind us to enjoy and appreciate life. The eagle was chosen to be the leader. To all the birds, from the smallest to the largest, we send our joyful greetings and thanks. We are all thankful to the powers we know as the four winds. We hear their voices in the moving air as they refresh us and purify the air we breathe. They help us to bring in the change of seasons. From the four directions they come, bringing us messages and giving us strength. With one mind, we send our greetings and thanks to those four winds. Now let's turn to the west, where our grandfather, the thunder beings, live. With lightning and thundering voices, they bring with them the water that renews life. We are thankful that they keep those evil things that are housed underground. We bring our minds together as one to send greetings and thanks to our grandfather, the thunders. Now we turn and send greetings and thanks to our eldest brother, the sun. Each day without fail, he travels the sky from east to west, bringing in the light of a new day. He is the source of all the fires of life. With one mind, we send greetings and thanks to our brother, the sun. We put our minds together as one to give greetings and thanks to our oldest grandmother, the moon. She lights the nighttime sky. She is the leader of women all over the world, and she governs the movements of the ocean tides. By her changing face, we measure time, and it is the moon who watches over the arrival of children here on earth. With one mind, we send greetings and thanks to our grandmother, the moon. We give thanks to the stars who are spread across the sky like jewelry. We see them in the night, helping the moon to light the darkness and bringing dew to the gardens that grow things. When we travel at night, they guide us home. With our minds gathered together as one, we send greetings and thanks to the stars. We gather our minds to greet and thank the enlightened teachers who have come to help us throughout the ages. When we forget how to live in harmony, they remind us of the way we were instructed to live as people. With one mind, we send greetings and thanks to all these caring teachers. Now let's turn our thoughts to the Creator or Great Spirit, or whomever you see as your higher power. We send greetings and thanks for all the gifts of creation. Everything we need to live a good life is here on Mother Earth. For all the love that is still around us, we gather our minds together as one and send our choicest words of greetings and thanks to the Creator. Closing words. We have now arrived at the place where we end our words. Of all the things that I have named, it was not my intention to leave anything out. If something was forgotten, we leave it to each individual to send such greetings and thanks in their own special way. And now our minds are one.
To our commitment to Indigenous reconciliation, as participants in today's event, we are coming together as one. We believe everyone is free to be their true self and receive the same respect and opportunity. We hope you'll join us in fostering a positive environment here today to ensure a safe and welcoming space for all. In that same spirit of inclusion, we recognize that for some, this month marks the observance of Ramadan. To those who are participating, we wish you a peaceful and meaningful month of reflection. Ramadan Mubarak. To all those observing the Lenten period and upcoming Passover, we wish you peace and good wishes. Moments like these, whether cultural, spiritual, or civic, remind us of the richness and diversity within our community. They ground us in shared values, reflection, generosity, service, and collective responsibility. It is within that broader context that we gather here today. International Women's Day, recognized each year on March 8th around the world, celebrates the social, economic, cultural, and political achievements of women. It is both a celebration of progress and a reminder of the work that still lies ahead. This year's theme, Give to Gain, challenges us to think differently about progress. It invites us to embrace generosity and collaboration as catalysts for change. When women succeed, economies strengthen. When women lead, communities prosper. When women thrive, we all rise. The theme also reminds me of a quote by Maya Angelou. She so famously wrote, "When you learn, you teach. When you give, you get." This is the essence of women. Whether you're joining us here in person or watching the live stream, thank you for being here and for your leadership, your partnership, and your commitment to advancing opportunities for women in business and beyond. And to the men in the room, let's hear it for the men. Your presence matters. Championing equity is shared work, and your advocacy and allyship help accelerate meaningful progress, so thank you for being here. Now, with this year's theme of Give to Gain in mind, I'd like to invite everyone to take a small moment of reflection with us. So, everybody, take out your phones. The one time in any meeting you're allowed to take out your phones. Okay? Everybody got their phones? So, research shows that when we give someone a genuine compliment or express appreciation, it doesn't just lift their day, it actually boosts our own sense of happiness and connection as well. So, I'd like everyone, with your phones, send a quick text to a woman. Send a message to a woman in your life who you admire or appreciate. Send a note to say thank you. That's all it is, just say thank you. Tell them what they mean to you by that simple thank you. Or simply say hello to someone you haven't connected in a while. We'll pause a few seconds so everyone can do that now. Send it to your mom, your grandma, your sister, or sister friend. We are moms, we are aunties, we are sons, we are brothers. Make someone's day. Now you have to turn them off. Everybody will be ghosted, you know. They'll be wondering, okay, she sent me this text, what next? So thank you for participating in that moment of reflection. Sometimes the smallest act can have a ripple effect far beyond what we realize. When we give something meaningful to others, we often gain something equally powerful in return. Speaking of gratitude, I'd like to extend an official welcome to the following individuals in attendance today. Our event host, Regional Chair Karen Redmond, City of Kitchener Mayor Barry Urbanovic, City of Waterloo Mayor Dorothy McCabe, oh, there we go, MPP for Kitchener Centre, Aisling Clancy. We have regional councillors Jim Erb, Chantal Hunick, Colleen James, and Matt Rodriguez. City of Kitchener councillors, Debbie Chapman, Scott Davey, Margaret Johnson, Christine Michaud, Dave Schneider, and Stephanie Stretch. City of Waterloo councillors, Diane Freeman, Sandra Hamner, Julie Wright. With Waterloo Regional Police, Deputy Chief Jen Davis. My colleagues on the KW Chamber Board of Directors, Gina Hutto, Kathy Schneider, and Stephanie Sulis. And finally, we'd like to do a special shout out to our largest group in attendance here this morning. So where is CEO Kim Wilhelm? Where are you? And the team from the Food Bank of Waterloo Region. Say hi. Of course, this morning's event would not be possible without the continued support of our many incredible sponsors. So thank you to our title sponsor, BMO. The Bank of Montreal has been a long-standing supporter of this annual event and are focused on seeing women succeed. Our award sponsor, Waterloo Regional Police Service. Gold sponsor, PwC. There's lots, so we'll just hold it until the end. Silver sponsors, Enbridge Gas and EY. Bronze event gift sponsors, bronze sponsors, Cowan Insurance Group and Gowling WLG. Event sponsor, Hefner Toyota. Gift partner, Little Mushroom Catering and Dining Lounge, who graciously donated the delicious cookies you all get to take home with you this morning. Is the slide changing or is it just... Oh, so maybe I'm going too fast? Okay. Sorry, I don't have my glasses. Right? And these lights are not hot flash friendly. All right, so I'm winging it. So our in-kind sponsor, design sponsor, W Design Co. Sign and print sponsor, Westmount Signs and Printing. Media partner, Rogers TV. Photography partner, Julie Mayer. Has it changed? Okay. Our production sponsor, Goodco Productions. Hospitality partner, St. George Banquet Hall. So one round of applause to everybody again. Finally, thank you to our community builder sponsor, M&P. If you purchased door prize tickets this morning, you are directly supporting Women's Crisis Services of Waterloo Region. In addition to the door prize sales, M&P has contributed an additional $500 in support of Women's Crisis Services of Waterloo Region. I'm just going to let you guys clap because this is great for celebrating, you know. So just clap whenever you want to. Just doesn't matter. Thank you to M&P. Instead of thinking glasses like we do at weddings, so just spontaneous claps. So thank you to M&P and to everyone who purchased additional tickets. This is your final reminder, and everyone who received a door prize ticket at registration, so you can put it in one of the great prize areas. If you haven't entered the draw yet, or you would like to purchase extra tickets, please visit the back table before the end of the fireside chat. You do need to be here to win, or we can give your tickets to a friend or to me. We will be announcing the winners at the end of this morning's event. You could win one of 12 incredible prizes generously donated. So I have a long list, but feel free to clap. Janice McVie of Axel Consulting Limited. Borealis Grill and Bar. Sandra Stone in Conestoga Mall. Harp and Finn Floral and Lifestyle Boutique. Shannon Shaw of Big Wish Marketing. Andrea DeJager Jackson of Limitless Growth Partners Incorporated, Carla Harris of Told by Harris, Matlock Corley Community Solution, Allison Burke of Oxford Learning Waterloo. I'm going to clap because she's my friend. Rachel Summers of RBC PH&N Investment Council, Rookie and Ace Multisport, Suzanne Flynn, Personal Concierge Services, TW Social at the Walper Hotel, and Kirsty Bertrand of Uptown Waterloo BIA. Please join me in thanking all these incredible event sponsors and donors who made today's event possible. I'd now like to welcome Bella Modi, Regional Vice President of BMO Commercial Banking, to the stage to say a few words on behalf of our title sponsor. Bella.
Okay, I need to get my glasses on because you did really good without them. I need mine. Thank you. So thank you, Geraldine. What an honor it is to be here today on International Women's Celebration event. Looking around this room, I'm feeling so energized. I'm feeling inspired to be surrounded by smart, vibrant, and accomplished women. Please. You guys got to keep clapping for me because you clap for Geraldine, so, it's competition now. Bank of Montreal, we're proud to be the title sponsor of the Chamber's International Women's Day Breakfast once again. In the spirit of this year's theme, Give to Gain, I am delighted to highlight the meaningful work BMO continues to lead in support of women entrepreneurs, innovators, and change makers. Exactly one decade ago, in 2016, we launched BMO for Women, which is a dedicated program designed to advance gender equity, expand access to capital, and empower women to feel confident in their financial futures. This year marks a major milestone for us, exactly 1 decade, and I'm loving it. I'm so happy to be here for it and represent. To celebrate the decade of progress that we've been making, we'll be traveling across the country from May to September, hosting a national roadshow with our clients and our partners to not only celebrate what we've accomplished so far, but also as a reminder for the important work that still remains. There's so much more to be done. We're also thrilled to share that BMO Celebrating Women grant program is preparing to launch its 6th year. To date, we have awarded more than $1 million in grants to women entrepreneurs across North America. And this year, we will once again honor 10 exceptional women in Canada whose businesses are driving sustainable growth and aligning with UN Sustainable Development Goals. Can I get a round, please, for that one? I had a chance to meet last year's recipients, and they're exceptional women. It was such an honor. At Bank of Montreal, we know that funding is only one part of the entrepreneurial journey. Community, mentorship, and strong networks like what you see here today are what truly accelerates growth. That's why we're proud of our exclusive and long-standing strategic partnerships that helps open doors for women entrepreneurs. And in no particular order, these partnerships include Grow Your Biz, Women Presidents Organization, Women Get On Board, and WBE Canada. All these incredible organizations I just mentioned share our unwavering commitment to support women-led businesses at every stage of their life cycle. Through these partnerships, along with our dedicated advocates, we provide women entrepreneurs with access to invaluable expertise, peer connections, and tailored support. When women-led businesses thrive, communities flourish, industries innovate, and economies grow stronger. And today, with the economic and political uncertainty that we have around us, empowering women entrepreneurs, it's not just important, it's essential. At BMO, we are committed to removing barriers, expanding opportunities, and creating pathways for women to succeed, not just today, but for generations to come. If you're interested to learn more, please reach out to your BMO contact. Or if you don't have one, we have 3 tables here of Bank of Montreal employees. A round of applause to my BMO folks. And they're wonderful, exceptional people. Please reach out to them. And on behalf of all of us at Bank of Montreal, we are honored and grateful to celebrate with you. I am so pumped to be here and soak in all this wisdom and knowledge we're about to get imparted on us. So enjoy the rest of the show. And with that, I'll turn it back over to you, Geraldine. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Bella, and to all your wonderful colleagues. And I see Mary. I went to school with Mary. There she is. Growing up in Waterloo Region is always like a reunion, especially anybody St. Mary's High School when it was all girls? Woo! Yes. And shout out to St. Jerome's. Any St. Jerome's? Woo! All right. All right. Thanks again, Bella, and thank you again to BMO for your continued support of this annual event. I'd also like to recognize a volunteer on the Chamber's Women's Leadership Committee who helped bring these events to life. Thank you to Committee Chair Rachel Summers, Committee Vice Chair Andrea DeJager-Jackson, Christy Bertrand, Allison Burke, Suzanne Flynn, Carla Harris, Kelly Koner, Debbie Mann, Sabrina McGregor, Janice McVeigh, Shannon Shaw, Sandra Stone, and Leslie Warren. Please join me in thanking this incredible group of women. Okay, I need a slide person. Are we on the Fearless Female slide? Okay, awesome. Speaking of incredible women, we would also like to acknowledge some fearless females, some of who are in the room with us today. The Fearless Female series is presented by the KW Chamber of Commerce and Scotiabank. Over the past several months, the following fearless females have shared their story. Sandra Heptich, Focheezy Food Trucks. Alicia Christian, Learners, LLP. Fawn Lang, Food for Kids, Waterloo Region. Julie Newman, Willow Hall, HR. Juanita Metzger, Stroll Walking Tours. And Shauna Leafso, Sudley U. To learn more about their stories and watch their interviews, you can visit greaterkwchamber.com. It is now my privilege to introduce our host this morning, Regional Chair Karen Redmond. Chair Redmond has dedicated more than 2 decades to public service, representing our community at the federal and municipal levels, as well as in public education. Throughout her career, she has demonstrated a deep and consistent commitment to community leadership and civic engagement. She began hosting this International Women's Day gathering nearly 30 years ago, and her continued advocacy for advancing and supporting women remains a defining part of her leadership. Please join me again, Chair Karen Redmond.
So good morning, everyone. It is wonderful to see so many people, and there's been a bit of a reference of the fact that this has been actually going on since 1997. Can I see a show of hands? Who's here for the first time? So I want to welcome all of you and commend people that have been here. I know at one table somebody said they'd been here for at least 10 years. So the very first International Women's Day breakfast that we had was actually at the KW Art Gallery, and I know Shirley Medill is at a table to my left. And they let us put the food next to the artwork, which I really don't think could probably happen today. And it was very small. I would guess there were maybe 40 people there. And they had very impressionistic paintings, and they were sort of abstract. And I thought they looked a little bit like shots out of Kama Sutra, to be honest. And my mother's getting her breakfast, and she goes, honey, what's that a picture of? And I said, oh, just get your eggs, Mom, it's fine. So we've come a long way, and I too want to give a shout out to the men in the room, because as much as Bella already said there's lots left to do, that is only going to happen when men in our lives appreciate the contributions and the values of women. So gentlemen in the room, thank you for being here, and thank you for honoring the contributions of the women in your lives. So just before I welcome our wonderful speakers to the stage, one of my favorite parts of this program isn't just celebrating today's leaders, but it's also investing in the next generation of leaders who will shape tomorrow. So in that spirit, we're proud once again to recognize leaders of tomorrow through a special award presentation. We were also very happy to have last year's recipient, Miranda Moffat, joining us here, and you may have taken note of her wonderful video that kicked things off this morning. And I have to tell you, there's just something about the fact that she taped that in a car that really appealed to me. Joining us today are nearly 25 exceptional students from local high schools. So I would like you all to please stand if you're able. So the high school student, yeah, this is your... These young women exemplify academic excellence, demonstrate outstanding leadership, and show deep commitment to volunteerism and community impact. They represent the strength, talent, and potential that they carry into businesses, institutions, and communities as they move forward with their lives. You are all phenomenal leaders, and we thank you so much for what you do for our community. All of them are remarkable, but we'd like to recognize one outstanding individual. To do so, I would like to welcome Deputy Chief Jen Davis of the Waterloo Regional Police Service to present this year's award. So Jen, the stage is yours.
Hello, it's nice to be here again this year and celebrate. Had some great conversation with some people in this room, and I'm amazed every year about everything that Waterloo Region has to offer and all of the amazing work that you're all doing. Thank you, Chair Redmond, very much for introducing me. The Waterloo Regional Police Service is proud to be the sponsor of the Leaders of Tomorrow Award once again this year. The award is intended to recognize and encourage young women who demonstrate strong leadership potential. As always, all applications were exceptional, making the decision extremely difficult. Each one of you demonstrated purpose to serving others, filling a need, and giving back to community. We are thrilled to be congratulating the winner of the 2026 International Women's Day Leaders of Tomorrow Award, Rebecca Giraud-Lametti of Resurrection Catholic High School. And Rebecca, you get to stand here while I get to talk about you. So go on up. Okay. Rebecca has demonstrated exceptional academic achievement while making meaningful contributions to her school and the broader community. A consistent honor roll student with grades in the mid to high 90s, great work, and multiple academic nominations, she has also distinguished herself as a 5-time Best Delegate at Model UN competitions, including at the international level. As a 2025-26 student trustee for the Waterloo Catholic District School Board, Rebecca has played a key role in elevating student voices and strengthening connections across the region's secondary schools. This year, she also collaborated with Possibility Seeds to help develop and publish an online toolkit that supports teachers and students in integrating consent education into everyday language and learning. Beyond the classroom, Rebecca has dedicated more than 400 volunteer hours to local hospitals, community sports programs, and organizations. She has led a broad sustainability initiative through the Rerun Shoe Project, collecting over 900 pairs of running shoes and 400 pairs of new socks for community members in need. A member of Resurrection's field hockey team, Rebecca credits the experience with shaping her approach to leadership. Her commitment to advocacy, collaboration, and community impact reflects the very spirit of the Leaders of Tomorrow Award. Please join me in congratulating this year's Leaders of Tomorrow, Rebecca Giraud-Lametti. Thanks.
Good morning, everyone. I first want to begin by saying thank you to Ms. Karen Redmond and Geraldine Stafford and the organizers of this wonderful event, and I am incredibly grateful to be receiving this award filled in such a room filled with such inspiring women and other youth leaders who continue to pave the way for future generations. I am reminded every day that true leadership lies within those who listen, who learn from the experiences of others, and who act, not for recognition, but with the aspiration to create meaningful change. And although this award has my name on it, It's really not about me at all. This award embodies the spirit of our community and in those who speak up in the face of adversity. This award shows that leadership, no matter how quiet, can make opportunities for others possible. Because from an early age, I have been made aware that the opportunities I've had the privilege of receiving are not universal for everyone. My family has instilled in me a deep appreciation for education and giving back to this community, and I would not be where I am today without the incredible support of my parents. But in celebrating International Women's Day, it feels especially important to honor the two most influential women in my life, my mother and my grandmother. Both have profoundly shaped the way I choose to work hard and pursue the opportunities that I am given. They have both stepped into roles as trailblazers, leading with courage and taking risks when it would have been easier not to. Their example continues to guide the standards that I set for myself, and I thank you both for showing me what courage and resilience truly look like, and for helping me to grow into half the women you are. I want to close by saying that the impact we make isn't always visible, and it isn't always celebrated, but it does matter. Every small choice we make has the opportunity to impact communities, even those beyond our own. I hope to keep paying forward the guidance and opportunities that I've been given, and to keep learning from all the incredible leaders in this room and all around me. So I thank you again. I am so excited and honored to be spending this morning with all of you. Thank you.
I'm going to invite everyone to sit down except Mom and Grandma. Stand up. So now we're here to the main event. Jen, thank you very much for that wonderful presentation of the award, and what a deserving recipient. I'd now like to introduce you to this morning's speakers. And somebody said to me when I was at their table, really looking forward to hearing you speak, and I said, no, tamp down your expectation of me, but you will be wowed by the two speakers we have this year. So I'm going to ask you to come up to the podium, to the chairs. Karina Moore, I'll ask you to come up first. Karina is Executive Vice President, Transportation and Infrastructure at WSP in Canada, leading 3,400 employees, including scientists, advisors, and engineers in road infrastructure, water, rail, and transit, land development, aviation, ports, and more. Sounds like a big portfolio to me. Before joining WSP in January 2024, she spent a decade in engineering and telecom and 17 years in transportation in Ontario Northland, where she held senior roles including Chief Operating Officer, President and CEO, providing essential rail freight, passenger and motor coach services. Karina transformed Ontario Northland into a data-driven, customer-centric, financially sustainable organization, fostering collaboration and meaningful connections with First Nations. She holds many achievements, including being the first woman president of a Canadian railroad, being named one of Canada's most powerful CEOs by Women's Network, Executive Network, and being an honorary colonel for the Canadian Armed Forces, just to name a few. Karina holds degrees in systems design engineering and business administration from the University of Waterloo. She's married and has 3 children. Also joining us is the Honorable Marty Deacon, who was appointed to the Senate of Canada in 2018, following a 35-year career in education, where she served as teacher, administrator, and superintendent at the Waterloo Regional District School Board. A respected leader in sport and community development, Senator Deacon was coached and led Canadian teams in multiple Olympics, Commonwealth and Pan Am Games, including being the Team Canada's chef de mission in the 2010 Commonwealth Games in Delhi. She also served on the boards of the Canadian Olympic Committee and Commonwealth Games Canada. In the Senate, she has supported and challenged legislation while introducing a private member's bill intended to pull back on the advertising of gambling. She also sits on the Security and Defense and the Foreign Affairs and International Trade Committee. Senator Deakin enjoys time with family and friends, exploring the world as a global citizen, hiking, cycling, yoga, quiet reading, and music. I'm looking forward to this conversation, so let's get started. So, Karina, I think I'm going to start with you. You grew up in Commanda, population 50 or so, in Northern Ontario, and ended up with some unique experiences and jobs that have taken you all over the world, to the US, Europe, and Asia. And you had served as several firsts to your credit, a couple that were mentioned in your bio. Senator Deakin, you are best known in Waterloo Region for your role in the fields of sport and education. The variety of awards that you have received speaks to the diversity of your passions. The Women of Distinction and Lifetime Achievement Award, YWCA Waterloo Region, the International Olympic Committee, Education and Youth Award, the Jules Nice Playground to Podium Award, the Queen Jubilee Medal Induction into the Cambridge Hall of Fame and the Cambridge Sports Hall of Fame. So we have two very accomplished ladies here. So Karina, sometimes when we look at other people's careers, it seems great for them, but really unattainable for us when we consider our own lives. You're a rarity. It appears you have it all. You identified as an influential woman of the year by Northern Ontario Business, married mother of 3. What does work-life balance look like for you? And what advice can you give leaders to support flexibility without penalizing ambition? What's made it possible for you to stay in leadership at moments when it would have been easier to leave?
Just a little question.
Just a small one to start.
Well, we'll start with balance, of which I've struggled with my whole career, and I'm sure that every single woman in this room has struggled with. I think we were talking at the table where you come into work and you've already done 4 jobs, air traffic controller with your children, trying to facilitate everything, figuring out what your husband is doing or not doing, and filling in the blanks. Hockey mom, so a lot going on. And I think the one thing that I would step away with in terms of balance is a personal thing. And for a long time I felt judged, right? I wasn't the mom that always brought the organic muffins to the picnic. Damn those organic muffins. Try my best every time, but sometimes you just don't have time to do that part. And I guess I would just say, let's not judge one another. We have a hard enough time navigating this, and every moment in time you're guilty, right? You're feeling guilty that you're not the mom you want to be, you're feeling guilty that you're not the leader you want to be, and the partner you want to be. And finally, 25 or 30 years into my career, I'm figuring out that just got to stop and breathe and be grateful for whatever that balance looks like, because I'm going to tell you, I decided to just be in the present. And if you can be in the present with your kids and your partner for an hour a day and you are with them and hearing them, and that's quality time, and that you should celebrate. And sometimes you're going to be that at home, and sometimes you're going to be that at work, and whatever it may be, we should celebrate it. So, that's my perspective on balance. And I think, supporting the flexibility first means judge performance and not optics, okay? I'll be the first one to tell you that the perfect lives on Facebook and the perfect jobs on LinkedIn are just that, right? So I think we need to make sure that we celebrate women who are coming to work every day and have lives that they need to, help at home, and just balance that. The second thing I would say is model flexibility as a leader. If we can model the flexibility and take time out for that Christmas play or the hockey game you don't want to miss on the Friday, that allows younger people to see that that's a path that's not a career risk. And a lot of young people don't feel comfortable taking that afternoon and doing whatever they need to do. And I'll tell you, it doesn't matter because they're going to put in 1,000 more hours because you said go and do that for your children. So I think we need to model the way as leaders. And the last thing I will say is empower your people. The long time I felt like, oh my God, I got to prove myself. I got to do everything. And the second that you can let that go and empower your people, it's awesome for them because they learn leadership skills. It's kind of a gift to them. And I think a long time as women, we always are trying to prove ourselves all the time to feel valued and to get attention of others. And really the biggest thing you can do is empower someone else.
Thank you. That's wonderful. Totally agree. I don't know if you saw how many nodding heads that were at the tables of people you're speaking to their lives. So thank you. Marty, I read that you were in the grocery store buying pork chops when you received a call from Prime Minister Trudeau's office offering you a seat in the Senate. That feels like a collision of worlds, doesn't it? One of the taglines that I've read about your path refers to from retirement to Senate. How did you possibly prepare yourself to receive a call like that?
Well, thank you for the question, and I am going to clarify the pork chops because they did become quite a story and quite an event. But I just wanted to thank you and the group today, all the names of people that mentioned that made today work, and I shout out to our 3 tables of young people. Really thrilled to see you here. I would offer Rebecca my chair. It was such a great opening today, so I do. And Karina, it's wonderful to be here beside you, and your background is just numbing. It's amazing. The pork chops. The pork chops need a little bit of a Senate 101 first. Just a little context. And that is, 35 years in education, started as a high school physics teacher, had great opportunities, and my work finished. We would call it retirement. You sign a sheet saying, I'm retiring, and my husband knew I was simply going to refire myself. He just knew that I was going to end up quite quickly somewhere else, and I was actually on a path to do some work internationally. But in 2013-14, the then leader of the opposition, Justin Trudeau, said, we've got to look at the Senate. We've got to take a good look at the Senate. It shouldn't be replicating what the House is doing. It needs to be different, and we're going to do what's called, very complicated to change some rules, but have what's called independent senators. So in 2016, Canadians could apply to become a Senate. Independent group, vetted by your province. There were 2 openings in Ontario. I was doing a lot of Indigenous work around the country, and I thought, you know what, I want to put my energy in Canada. I love my country, and there are places in this country that are still third worldish in some respects that needed help. So you put an application for something like this, and you go, well, there's the portal. I have my references, some very courageous conversations, support from my husband, and then nothing happens for 17 months. So that's a long time for a job callback. You know, and so that piece is to be remembered because I really thought there were 6,000 applicants, there were 2 openings, it's over, and I was doing something else. And then some of the diligence came. Where do you live? Do you pay your taxes? Do you have a DUI? All kinds, DUI, yes. And driving under the influence charge. What have you done that could embarrass the Prime Minister should he recommend you to the Governor General? So those things were all going on. And then I had this final really serious call where they said, we'll get back to you Monday in January of 2018, and nobody called me back. So I just said, well, it's over. And then we were in a snowstorm in a little butcher shop in Waterloo going to buy pork chops on a Friday night. And in my brand new car with speakers that I didn't know were so loud, a very vivacious girl called. Hi, this is Michelle. Great. And you couldn't see like a call display, or it was a weird code. It didn't say PMO office. And she just said, hey, it's 3 o'clock Friday. Would you be ready for a call of significance on Monday? Not the Prime Minister yet, but a call of significance. And I went, sure. She said, you have to have strong, phone reception, strong this, strong that. Great. We go into this butcher shop, and I look at my husband before we go, and I said, this is a team decision. You talk about men and the importance of men, and thank you, men. This is a big decision to go to Ottawa, and Karen's very familiar with that. And so not only did we agree that we're stepping forward, we went into the store and we're just getting pork chops, and he was getting steak and fish and shrimp, and he goes, if you're taking this job, I'm getting my meat and my fish. And he just filled the buggy up. And still we're kind of in the store on a weird emotional moment. And sure enough, 3 o'clock on Monday, I'm cross-country skiing and snowshoeing with friends in Thornbury. And I'm going through their chalet that they're renting to see where the best internet is. I can't find it. I can't find 3 bars. So we jump into a car and go to Home Hardware in Thornbury, Georgian Bay. That's where I found the best internet. And true to form, on time, the Prime Minister was piped in, and I didn't know if it was going to be him or the Governor General. Like, I really didn't know. And I share that with you because it does represent quite a journey, quite a moment, and quite a courageous conversation. He was well briefed. He asked tough questions. And I said if I was going to be an independent senator, that means that we'd be things that we would disagree on. And he said, I really value your work in education. I value the fact that you've been mentoring women in different continents and really trying to support girls in education and activity. And we think you'd be a good complement to making this Senate more diverse. So the pork chops have never been forgotten.
And it makes a great story. But you know, Marty, it's really interesting. You talk about that there's a partnership and the influence of your husband. I know Rebecca was talking about her mom and her grandma. And I really found the anecdote, Karina, of your mom's involvement when you were touring the University of Waterloo. So family matters, I guess is what I'm saying. And how you decided that systems design engineering was the area that you wanted to pursue. There's a reference to serendipity. However, I know you've pursued a career with a path with focus and intent. At one point, you switched your career track. How have you made these big career decisions that define your path? And how do you make sure you're leaving the door open for women behind you?
Well, I think one of the things that my mom instilled, and you got to picture this, right? A town of 50 max, only child, hippie parents, no view of big business whatsoever, in fact, the opposite. And so when she was guiding me, she said, just let life take you where it takes you. And treat people with respect and how you'd like to be treated. Work hard with integrity, and things will come. And I didn't ever look outside of that because, one, I didn't have the confidence to think I could map a career path, so it actually wasn't something that I saw. It actually was, and I will call out the mentors, and that's why it's so important to have the men in the room, because we are still at 80% men in leadership positions, if not greater. And if the men around you don't support you and support the evolution of where women are going, then we're nowhere. And these are the mentors that were my voice when I wasn't in the room, and also the people that said to me, how are you reacting to this situation? Like, the mentors were the people, I think, that guided me and said, is this really the truth of how you're thinking? Is this really what's happening? And it made me look inside and say, okay, wait a second, I'm navigating this a little bit incorrectly. And so I would say, I don't know, serendipity, I would say people had my back. And I would say the majority of them were men, because they saw confidence in me and when nobody else did, and even myself. And so I'm grateful for that. And I think, what stands out for me is that we need to share the way we make choices as leaders, because if we don't share that, then women around the room don't understand how we made the decision and how we got to where we got. And it's a real learning moment, I think, of keeping the door open for women. And I also think that we have a role to play as leaders to bring our voice to the table for other women around the room. And one of the things that I've always done in leadership, not always, in the last several years, is when we're in a meeting and there's a young woman or a young person, always make sure they have a voice. because it's very intimidating. I mean, I applaud the winner in that speech that you did. I would have fell to my knees at your age if I had to do a speech like that. It is absolutely amazing. And I think, not everyone has that courage, and we need to make sure we hear those voices around the table and support them. And I guess the third thing would be deliberate about your sponsorship and mentorship of women. Be deliberate. Share with them what their values are. Help them have the confidence that they need to navigate everything around us. And I guess I would just say one more thing is, I'm sitting there and I'm going, how do I navigate this? And I was at the railway and we had a celebration because when I started, we had 5% women. And when I was done, we had 23% women. And there was, this big thing about it. And my daughter said to me, wow, boss man, that's awesome. And then I thought, oh my gosh, she's celebrating 2 out of 10 around a table. That's what we're celebrating. There's something very wrong with that. And that's what gave me the energy to keep going in these rooms and keep evangelizing what this means, because it's so important to our society.
Great answer. Thank you. So, Marty, you're now a senator in the Parliament of Canada who meets in a former train station because of their renovating Centre Block. So it's in downtown Ottawa. And you recently told a group of students that you attended your first national badminton championship in Ottawa in 1974. But the group that you were with didn't have money to stay in a hotel, so you slept on benches in that exact same railway station. And that feels to me like a full circle moment. There must be a lesson in this. What is it?
Thank you. And it is really quite something to think about. And number one, I didn't even tell anyone for 50 years. I only started really thinking about this in the last year, and someone asked me about our new facility. So we are in the old train station, and a little story to that is all the benches were taken out and sold off. And they had to get the benches back in. There was such an outcry. And so the bench that I look at and I put my hand on every single day as I pass it was bought at a garage sale for $800 to get a bench that was from the train station back into the train station. That's just how important it is in the history. And I look back, for sure, my early years, we did not have money. It was an unstable family. Sport saved my life. That is a full stop for me. And the desire to give back and what it gave me, I get emotional thinking about it still today, is what I want to give and provide for others. And so in those early days, we did have those few days where the big promotion was the hostel, and that was the Ottawa jail. That was the next 5 days, and for $10, we had bunk beds. So we felt that was the 5-star event. But when I look back and I think of the circle of I would say to you, having the ability at a very young age to develop resilience, courage. Nothing was going to happen unless I made it happen. Very young, in sort of my teens, I also recognized that we have something to reach for. It's not a straight path, but we also have to be bringing people behind us. And so those early days of sport, of coaching, of taking some leadership roles as a young person, those were the foundations, I think, that were built in me. And the idea of being able to really push hard, work hard, don't say no. I'm not comfortable with that. Don't say no. Try it. And there's so many times when I talk to young and younger people, and I say young people are now to me are 50, too, and 45, and 15, it's the whole range. But some of these life foundational skills. And so when I do look at that, and I look at the travels and the opportunities I've had, and I've gone into rooms where I have been harassed. I've gone to rooms where I've spoken in Asia and Europe, the only female at the podium, looking for a female at a table, and there isn't one. I'm looking, and then it looks obvious that I'm looking, so I relax, because I need to own, I've had to make some changes and some what we call motions and things within organizations, and I have really seen the good and the bad and the ugly, both domestically and internationally, but every one of them is a learning, and a learning. And failure, making mistakes, getting back up, learning from them. These skills and these commitments, that's what I think about when I walk by. And I also think about what an honor it is for me. I would do it for free. I've said that to HR even. What an honor is for me to represent my community, to get to know my region. I chose to be a regional senator. That's never happened before. It's always a city or a town. I wanted to be a regional senator. I had been to every single school into the diversity in this region, and that's what I wanted to represent in Ottawa, and just all of the things that come with it. I touch that bench when I go by it, and when the Christmas tree goes up, they take the bench away. And I'm like, when's it coming back? When's the bench coming back? But it is a true circle of life that I'm really humbled to be able to serve.
And you're very generous to continue to share that example, Marty, so thank you. So, Karina, in the region of Waterloo, we have 2 honorary colonels who happen to be female. Diane Freeman, who is joining us today, is with the City of Waterloo as a councillor. She's a professional engineer, and she serves as the Regimental Honorary Lieutenant Colonel for the 31st Combat Engineer Regiment, the Elgins. Do you want to stand up, Diane, or what? Somebody gave you a woohoo anyway. There you go. See, we ratted you out, you left the room. And since 2023, Jane Klugman serves as the first female honorary colonel of the Royal Highland Fusiliers of Canada. But I have to ask you, because you have an appointment as the honorary colonel for the Canadian Armed Forces 21 Squadron. So there seems to be a bit of a trend here, so there's got to be a story behind this.
I didn't know anything about honorary colonels, and the colonel of the commander of the base came and met with me when I was the CEO of the railway and said, you've been nominated for this role. And I said, okay, what is this role? I'll have to get back to you. And so I called a few people and like, what, you let him leave the room without saying yes? And so I realized how, what an honor it is. It's a role that is really near and dear to me for a couple of reasons. It's about advocacy for what these people do on a day-to-day basis to make our country safe. But it also was an opportunity because they reached out to me to try to talk about the change and transformation of the Canadian Armed Forces with regards to diversity and inclusion, and they're transforming to try to attract more women. And that was something that I was doing at Ontario Northland, and so we were able to partner on a national level to do speaking engagements across the armed forces about what it means to support women. It's not a checkbox, it's not an HR thing, it's an operational advantage when you include that diversity of thought around the table. And so the railway was 120 years old when I was there, close to the institution of the military and what it would take to transform. And so I felt so honored to be part of that and to help make it so that this was a place where women were celebrated, because it wasn't. And also I think the key thing here is I will make it my life's work to share with people that caring doesn't mean weakness. And I think when I got into Ontario Northland and in the military, because it was so authoritarian and we were trying to move away from command and control to communication and openness, we really had to wrestle with that, because people felt like when you give up that command and control in the military, then it's not a good thing when you're going into combat or when you're in these tense situations. And it's a change, it's a shift in how we look at things, because if we care, it doesn't mean we're not holding people accountable. It doesn't mean there's not structure. It doesn't mean there's not consequences. It means that we are all human and we deserve to be cared for. And so just a quick story, when I started as CEO at Ontario Northland, one of the things I wanted to do was connect with the people. And my mom, I hear her in my head saying, The people that know the answers are the people at the bottom of the org chart, and never look at titles, because titles are garbage. They mean nothing. There's something that people prop themselves up with that's hollow. And so I went down to the shop floor and I had a town hall, and there was 300 people, and 98% of those were men. And I heard all this rumbling, and I asked one of the shop stewards to share with me, and he said, oh, well, now that we have a woman CEO, it's going to be all about hugs and all this stuff that's emotional. And so I took the opportunity and gulped, because I was feeling very, like, let me just curl up in a ball over here in a corner, and said, there's nothing wrong with a good hug, first of all, and there's nothing wrong with caring with each other and still having, the best structure and the best accountability. And I think we need to take that away. And that was one of the things that I loved partnering with the military, because we were both going through the same transformation. But I will say, I spoke at a defense event last week, and I was sitting up in the panel, and I looked out, and it was 98% white male. And so I was thinking, okay, should I say something? Like, this is really bothering. So at the end, I said, we're all talking about resources, and we're all talking about attracting the right workforce, and how are we going to fill these positions? And there's 50% of the population that's not represented in this room, so I think we can do better. And so all to say that we have a lot more to do. We think that we've come a long way, and we have, but man, we can't take the foot off the pedal. And everybody in here that has the confidence to have a voice, we need to keep people accountable to changing what that looks like, because it's way far from where we need to be.
Absolutely.
I'm going to ask you about your uniform later, because that was a great answer. Marty, Parliament is an intimidating place, sometimes fractious. So even as an independent senator, decisions are accomplished with a majority of votes. Can you share with us how you bring issues about which you're passionate to the floor of the Senate, and how your previous experiences in coaching and education equipped you for this?
Sure, and I can't see the screen. If there's 2 slides I'd like to be able to have reference to, if this is the time. Thank you very much. All right, that would be great. And I will just refer to them in just a moment. Okay, yeah, thank you very much. So looking at that and looking at previous experience, absolutely, as someone who has worked and traveled and led high-performance groups, in 42 countries, you learn a lot. You learn about the countries, you learn about the political systems, you learn about being a female, you learn about what's okay in Canada and not elsewhere, like a variety of things that were all great training for the Senate. And as an educator and working with, 3-year-olds to university and post-grad students, very, very informing. And as a mother and also as a wife, they're all areas. And I look at those skills. This has been sometimes a sandbox. It's like a sandbox and the boys and girls don't get along. And sometimes it's like a teeter-totter and a little bit more of this and oh dear. But it can be a very intimidating environment. And in fact, on my first day, basically in a not too subtle way, I was said, well, you're just a teacher, you're just an educator, nice to see you, but you won't be here in a year. I mean, I had that kind of entrance from some folks who were pretty established and had worked closely in the parliamentary system. And my decision anytime that happens is just to work, don't talk about it, show them your skills. And work on your own, listen in a way that you've never listened before. When we talk about dealing with tension and challenges. Listen for clarification, listen for understanding. Work with all of the groups in the room. You have allies. You know there are folks that you are very comfortable with that maybe think more similar to you, maybe more aligned with your values. But my accountability, in my mind, is to understand how everybody functions in the room. And I invited them to my office, every senator over 4 years. And at first, some were intimidated, going, like, do you have an ulterior motive? No. I just want to say hi. Outside of the tension, it took me 4 years to do it, because it was about 25 a year, getting 40 minutes. But it was really, really important for me to understand the table and who I'm with. Know who your allies are. I have a critical friend, someone too actually, that critique me when I speak, critique me when I write, critique me after media interviews so that I can, stay on my game and stay honest. I really feel that the work I do, all of the skills that I've collected over 6.5 decades have been put to the test. Whether you're building consensus, you can disagree strongly, but still be respectful. And that's something sometimes in Ottawa that can get forgotten, particularly when there's video clips. And the video clips, let's face it, those are mostly staged for a few minutes a day. But all of the things, everything I've taken in my life have led. And one of the things that I mentioned earlier is about girls. And I just wanted to share these 2 slides with you quickly if I could. The first slide was outdoors, and that is the famous 5 women. And those are the women from Alberta. That faces me in the sunshine that day. I looked down at the Rideau Canal. These statues were moved to right outside the Senate of Canada building, the old train station, and I pause when I walk by there and think about what it was like and how grateful I am for them, but the responsibility that I have serious for everybody behind me. And then the next slide, when we talk about the tension of making decisions and the stress, this represents all of the women in the Senate. We are the only Senate in the world that has reached 50% women. And if you take, thank you, and it's been work, and it's been work. And it brings an interesting dynamic too for those that continue to modify and adjust. But look at those pictures closely. You have the former commissioner of the RCMP, the former head of OPP, writers, journalists, lots of journalists. You have the medical people, 9 doctors, 13 Indigenous. They represent, there are people there, I think at least 6 that came to Canada with a suitcase and went through becoming a Canadian and leading. So this diversity that we shouldn't have to defend at the committee level, defend at the hiring level, defend the DEI positions. This is what makes our world tick and makes our world progress. And that's something that helps with this question, but also Canada being the very best it can be.
Did I tell you you wouldn't be disappointed? So we're going to move to a lightning round because we're going to run out of time as we always do. So Marty, I'm going to go to you first. Do you have a hidden talent or a power you're willing to share with us?
Willing to share? Oh my, oh my. I had to think about this because I feel like I'm sort of an open book. People know what I bring and what I don't, what I don't bring. I'm pretty open about that. But so I asked my family. And so under the sort of the talent piece, it might be surprising that I actually really like writing poetry and taking time to put some words to thoughts and feelings. When I do get the time, I find it very, very cathartic. And so I wouldn't call it talent, but it would be something that you might not know. And then my family reminds me, if it's a power, because it's also power can be assets and liabilities, is I have a very good memory. Dates, times, people, you name it. And I don't really think about it, but I get reminded. And so sometimes I have to say, I'm not even going to let them know what I really remember happened. So I have to kind of step back. But memory and the things I've mentioned are probably about my best answer.
Great. Karina, what's your hidden power?
It used to be memory until I hit menopause. It used to be my superpower that I was really proud of, and now I can't remember anything. Public service announcement for everybody who's going to be 45 and up. Get ready. So yeah, I don't really have any particular talents, but I think what people have said to me over the years is, and maybe this goes back to my systems design part, I see the world as an ecosystem and all the pieces that fit together for people. And my husband reminds me of this. When I got the job at Ontario Northland, we were driving from Waterloo, moving from here with our daughter who is 1. And the next morning I was going in for my new job that was, a higher position than I'd ever had before, and all male. I knew what I was getting myself into, and I was terrified. And I was getting out of the car, and he said, "Hey, you're Karina effin Moore." And I said, oh shit. Okay, I don't know what that means, but thank you for that vote of confidence. And so, but it taught me that there are places in time when you look for people that need those comments to lift you up. And that's what I've sort of taken from that moment that's 20 years ago, is how do we look in our personal lives, in our kids, and in the work world to say that person needs a comment right now that's going to make them be able to go and spread their wings. And I think we all, like, that look around is important.
So, Karina, I'm going to ask you first. What's the question you hoped I wouldn't ask?
She didn't give us this ahead of time.
This is when the panelists unite in their hatred of the moderator.
Probably what I'm really bad at, which is a lot of things. There's a lot of work to be done in a lot of areas. That's a good question. I don't know the answer to that question.
Marty.
Okay. I'm trying to think about this, but I would say that, just hope she doesn't ask the worst way that I've broken the law internationally.
Ditto.
I like that.
Eyes on that.
And it was in the interest of athletes and performance. I just want you to know that there.
This is a much easier one, so this will be your last lightning round question. If there's just one takeaway, and both of you and each of you have given us so many pearls of wisdom here, and thank you for your generosity in sharing your journeys, the highs and the lows. If there's one takeaway you want everyone to leave with today, what would it be?
Mine, without a doubt, is be curious in every aspect of your life. We don't know what we don't know, and we tend to not ask the questions early in our career because we're too afraid of being vulnerable. And even now, right, I take on this role 2 years ago, which I don't know was a smart idea to turn 50 and hit menopause and take a new job that had all these different intricacies about it, but here I am and navigating that. But I think don't underestimate asking someone the question why a number of times and digging deep into understanding, because it creates a whole new world and a better way to live and work.
Marty.
Part of me wants to truly say ditto, because the curiosity is something that constantly people comment to me about. And I think it's that, I'm going to slash curiosity and lifelong learning. It used to be almost like an educational tagline, but the ability to get up. How can I make today better for me and better for the people around me? And I don't know that I can do that without continuing to grow, continuing to learn, continuing to listen, continuing to lead. And very early, I learned never give up.
So I want to thank you both. There is a very high bar for the quality and the insights that have been garnered over the years at the IWD Breakfast. I am very thrilled to continue to partner with the Greater Kitchener-Waterloo Chamber of Commerce. You have not disappointed. It's been another home run. Thank you each so much, and I think we can stay put. And Geraldine, are you going to come up and close us off? So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Wow, so inspiring. We all started somewhere. Thank you for sharing so openly today, from sleeping in train stations to the Senate. Thank you, Karina Effin Moore and Honorable Mary Effin Deacon. And thank you, Chair Redmond. Really appreciate it today. An honorarium has been made on behalf of each of you to the charity of your choosing. So I'd like to thank our sponsors once again. Thank you to our title sponsor, BMO, Bank of Montreal. Award sponsor, Waterloo Regional Police Service. Gold sponsor, PwC. Silver sponsors, Enbridge Gas and EY. Bronze sponsors, Cowan Insurance Group and Gowling WLG. Event sponsor, Hefner Toyota. Gift partner, Little Mushroom Catering and Dining Lounge. To our in-kind sponsors, design sponsor, W Design Co. Sign and print sponsor, Westmount Signs and Printing. Media partner, Rogers TV. Photography partner, Julia Mayer. Production sponsor, Good Co-Productions. Hospitality partner, St. George Banquet Hall. And thank you to our community builder sponsor, proceeds going to the Women's Crisis Center, M&P. And to everyone who donated all those fabulous prizes in support of Women's Crisis Center Services of Waterloo Region, we will be announcing the winners in just one moment, so everybody get your tickets ready. Finally, thank you all. You all, we couldn't have done this without you for joining us this morning and celebrating the success and collaboration of women in our community. I hope today's conversation has inspired you, sparked new ideas, or reminded you about the power of connection. Your feedback is invaluable in helping us grow and strengthen these events and programs. You can take a moment now to scan the QR code on the screen and share your thoughts. We truly appreciate your input. If you, oh, sure.
Can I take a video of us doing the wave across this room? This is really inspiring from up here. Wait.
You are Karina F. and Moore, yes.
Turning over there, get up, and put your hands up in the air. You know the wave, you guys? It's like a wave, yes, all
Nice. Wonderful. And to our virtual audience, thank you for being part of today's celebration. We look forward to welcoming you in person at future events and hope you carry today's energy and inspiration with you throughout the week. Thank you everyone again for joining.